Success is often measured by what we gain, but we rarely calculate the cost of what we lose along the way. For David, success was everything. The corporate ladder wasn't just a career path, it was his life. Every promotion felt like a victory, every closed deal a badge of honor. But while he was winning in the boardroom, the silence at home was growing louder. His world was shrinking into a series of deadlines and demands. His calendar was a battlefield of 12-hour days. There was no room for anything that didn't have a bottom line or a quarterly target. 10 years ago, the world looked very different. It was a world of laughter and tiny footprints, a world he promised to protect. Young Lily would wait by the door with her small yoga mat, her eyes wide with hope every single afternoon. She didn't want toys or expensive gifts. She just wanted 10 minutes of his time. "Dad, do yoga with me?" she'd ask. But David was always elsewhere. Even when he was standing right in front of her, his mind was already at tomorrow's meeting. "Later, Lily," he would say, "Daddy has a very important call. We'll do it this weekend, I promise," but the weekend never came. Time is a thief that doesn't return what it steals. Days bled into months, and months dissolved into years of laters and not nows. David stayed the same, always busy, always stressed. But Lily was changing. She grew taller, her pigtails disappeared, and her enthusiasm began to fade. Now the house is finally quiet. The promotions are won, the wealth is accumulated, but the warmth has long since departed from these walls. He arrives home early for once, hoping to find the family he thought he was providing for. Instead, he finds a stranger. The teenage Lily walks past him, her headphones on, her eyes fixed on something miles away. She doesn't even slow down. "Hey, Lily," he tries, his voice cracking. She barely nods, a ghost of a greeting that doesn't reach her eyes. Dinner is a symphony of clinking silverware and avoided eye contact. The distance between them is wider than the mahogany table. "Why don't we talk anymore?" David asks, the question hanging heavy in the air. He expects an excuse, but he receives a truth. She looks up finally, and her voice is flat. "I stopped asking for your time when I realized work always wins. You taught me how to be alone." The words hit harder than any corporate failure. That night, David wanders into her room, looking for a way back to the past. He spots something in the corner, tucked away and forgotten. It's an old dusty relic from a time when he was a hero. Attached to it is a piece of construction paper, the edges yellowed with age, the handwriting shaky and filled with innocent love. The one day she waited for never arrived because he was too busy building a kingdom she didn't want to live in. The weight of a decade of neglect finally breaks him. He sits on the floor of the room he barely knows, clutching a dusty mat. Regret is a bitter pill, but it is also a powerful mirror. For the first time, David sees clearly what he has traded away. The next morning, the sun rises on a different man. The phone rings, but this time he doesn't reach for it. He looks at his schedule, a wall of meetings and demands, and realizes that none of it matters if he loses his daughter. He goes to the store, not for a new laptop or a suit, but for a bridge, a way to cross the gap he created. He stands before her door, the wood feeling like a mountain. He knocks softly, his heart racing faster than it ever did in a boardroom. "Is it too late?" he asks as she opens the door. His eyes are pleading, stripped of the corporate armor he wore for so long. She looks at the mats, then at his face, seeing the sincerity and the pain. The wall she built starts to show a tiny crack. A whisper is enough to break the silence of 10 years. "No," she says, stepping back to let him in. In the living room, the space once used for stiff gatherings is transformed into a sanctuary of second chances. David is clumsy, his stiff suit-bound muscles struggling with the poses. But for the first time in years, he is fully present. The laughter that follows is quiet, but it's real. It's the sound of a father coming home, not to a house, but to his daughter. Success isn't about the wealth you leave behind, but the moments you choose to stay for. Later is a dangerous promise because one day, later becomes never. Don't wait for regret to teach you what matters. Who deserves your time today?